What's up, guys? It's your boy Samir here. We're here with our next podcast with Luis Velez. Right? Did I get that right?
Yeah, you got it.
I got that. And we got our host, Rumays, here. And then, kind of screwed up on the intro, but, we'll get it started.
If you want to do it afterward, you can. It's up to you. It's completely up to you. This is why you have editing.
Exactly. So, yeah, Luis.
How you doing?
How you doing? I'm
That's
supposed to ask that. I'm supposed to ask that. No, it's fine. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good.
Yo,
but Rumays, you gotta yell. It was your turn, you know that, right?
I'm just messing with you, bro. I'm just messing. So this is how it goes, right? He always introduces it, and then I say my name, and then after that he goes in. I just
He just didn't say anything. Like,
killed
you're supposed
you.
to just pick it off of me, bro.
No.
Alright.
What are we doing? Like, are we
Huh?
starting?
Obviously. Alright. But yeah, so mentioning the fact that you're a video producer for New York City Football Club, how did you get into this industry? And like, because I remember you mentioning that you wanted to be like, you played soccer and like that stuff. So how did you transition from that?
Yeah, no. Video was an afterthought initially. I wanted to be a sports med person, so I wanted to do that in basically athletics, so mainly soccer. But kind of randomly, I ended up going to college and I joined like the broadcasting club. And then from there, like the world of video kind of opened up for me. And after my first year in that club, I just pretty much changed my major and then went into just digital media, and then kind of steamrolled, getting reps in, learning, buying a camera, and then just kind of growing from there pretty much. So yeah, I wanted to do soccer, but obviously it was more for fun, and I was like, all right, I need a job within soccer, and it just so happened that I decided and kind of fell on video as that avenue to get into it.
So, as like a kid, you didn't have like a video that you want to be a video guy? Or none of that?
No, not at all.
What was your initial thought? Like, what did you want to be?
Like I said, that's sports medicine.
Sports medicine.
So I wanted to get into that. I wanted to be one of the trainers that ran onto the field and like help the players.
Okay.
I just knew that was a position. I didn't know what it was, but obviously once you go into college, you kind of learn what that position is, and it's athletic training, and sports medicine. And I didn't get into the college I wanted to because I was very lazy as a young adult. So I was gonna end up transferring, but I ended up staying at the school again because I joined the live production club and then pretty much fell in love with it. And then I was just like, all right, cool. Like, I like it. You know, the people I'm working with are great. I gotta go. I was able to go to a lot of different sporting events, and then from there I just was like, all right, I'm just gonna kind of lean into this and go full force.
So, what was your first camera?
First camera, Canon 70D. So it was like, it was basically the camera that Casey and I said, like a YouTuber.
Oh, Casey, nice. I know him.
So it was like a camera he always had, and I was just, all right, I think that'll be a good starter camera. I got it, I think, 19 or 20. It was funny. My dad was just like, oh, like, do you want that, or do you want like lessons for your license? And I was just like, I want the camera. Give me the camera. So I got the camera, and then like that summer I just started shooting like photos, not even video, photos nonstop for like a whole summer. My friend would look up places to shoot in the city, and then we'd just go and shoot. And not a lot of the photos were good, but you know, I got the reps in and like was able to kind of build a base from just like constantly being out there shooting.
Yeah, as a kid, I always used to watch Casey Neistat. I don't know why. It was just like his vlogs were like so unique.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched? You watched Casey Neistat?
Yeah,
Of course, yeah.
Because I got that camera because of him. So yeah.
Like, I saw his hoverboard or whatever. What was his board? Yeah, I was like, damn, I want that when I grow up.
Yeah, no, his
Was it?
videos were and like the hoverboard, all that. Like just him.
His vlogs were like.
He was just
iconic.
interesting.
I know.
Yeah, I think it was something different. It was unique at the time, and I think it attracted everyone, and especially somebody coming in this field, wanting to do video, something that was different. It was like, all right, it attracted the eye. So it was like something that stood out completely from.
Did you do vlogs?
Vlogs? No, I always got told to do it. I always got told to like try to do a vlog. Hey, let's do this. But for me, it's a weird line. I don't want to draw, or I do want to draw rather. I'm kind of like going around it now. Like I'm thinking about doing stuff like that. Maybe not a whole vlog, but going into like the stuff that I do in a day to day. I always feel like it's kind of hard in this industry. Is like, you know, that you're constantly being filmed, or rather filming and doing stuff like that, that I kind of want to have my own private space. So it's like a weird thing where it's just like I'm always out there, but I don't want to be out there. Now I'm like changing my mindset a little bit, where like, all right, I don't need to show my entire life, but I'll show specific things that I want to show about, you know, the things I get up to, and especially my work, which I'm really passionate about. Of course.
Looking for the day in the life as Luis, you know?
You know what? It'll be a day in the life of a videographer for New York City Football Club. That's what it'll probably be, more so than it is about like my personal life. That's
I don't know if you've seen it, but like there's this one guy that goes around asking people like he's like building this long resume, the world's longest resume,
Really?
and then he's like going around asking people to just like follow them for one day. And then just like start doing it. I believe you know the guy who announces stuff in the games
Who?
in New York City Football Club.
Which one? Like the
home
radio
games.
or the TV?
Like just a person on the pitch itself.
Oh yes, of course, yeah. Oh yeah, he does all that stuff,
Yeah.
right?
No, he followed him one day, like the YouTuber that I was talking about.
Okay.
So it's like he just logged him through, and then he just like went through with him, and it just like went around and watched him for the whole day. That was actually pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I mean it's interesting to do like this type of stuff, like, you know, the access and more so the unique experience we get to get. You know, we kind of are. I feel pretty lucky to be able to do what I do. So it's like, you know, if you can share it with others that don't get that experience, then I guess that's something, right? I guess it's something.
So you said before this podcast that you were in St. John's. You were working for St. John's. How did that go? Like, what were you? More context.
So after college, I ended up working at the college I went to. So I worked in college sports, and then I did all basically digital media. So like I did graphic design, photo, creative video, live production. I did everything. Then after that was my first job. I was there for a while, but then I was like, all right, I want to step up my career. I want to take the next step. I looked out and I saw the opportunity to join St. John's. And at St. John's, I was a director of multimedia. So that means basically I handled anything video based. So that was obviously live production, you know, men's and women's basketball, lacrosse, all that. But then it was like all the creative stuff and social media stuff. I got to do stuff like in animation, like starting line up graphics. We produced our own TV show that went on MSG Networks. That was like a tough but like unique and fun experience. So I had a lot of skills, or I gained a lot of skills at my first job. Like, all right, this is the base that's going to kind of carry me. And then I refined them all at St. John's, because it was like, all right, now, as much as it's college sports, it's still like a bigger team that is getting like a lot of eyeballs on them. So I was like, doing TV, doing live production, doing creative, it's like, all right, cool, now like people are engaging with the stuff that I'm going to make, as opposed to like I went to a small D1 college that nobody was looking at. You know, so it was a good experience. It was a tough experience.
Oh, damn.
Tough experience. So it was like, yeah, after that, I did it 1 year.
Just 1 year?
Just 1 year. They wanted to keep me on longer, but I was just like, I wanted to get out of live production. Live production is a beast. Like, it taught me a lot, I think, more so to work under pressure, and knowing that, like, if nothing goes according to plan, that's perfectly fine, but it's not about, like, all right, it not happening, but rather about, all right, you just got to find out the solution to the problem, as opposed to like living in the problem.
So it's a lot. You're doing like
it was a lot of responsibility. I mean,
yeah,
it was a lot of responsibility. I had a whole team under me, like 3-4 people, and then it was just more so like, you know, there was a lot more eyeballs. There was a lot more people watching all the broadcasts and engaging on social media and all that. So no, it was a great experience though. I grew a lot. It was definitely like you know how you break a ceiling, right? You go to another level.
Yeah.
I went like a bunch of different levels just because I got a ton of experiences that I never had before. But I mean, like I said, I had at least a good amount of skill. So it's just about putting it into practice now, and like now with something that, like, you know, actual pressure, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So past St. John's, now you're here.
You want
You're good.
No, I choked on my own saliva.
This video is sponsored by. That was great.
I am so sorry.
All good. Get water. Yeah, that job was It was tough. It was tough. Like it was, like I said, it was great, but it like, I'm not gonna lie. You're not. Oh, you could just don't put this in. But like I got broken after that.
It burned you out like crazy?
Yeah, I got burnt out bad.
Yeah.
Like I know, I always joke around with people. Like I know that if I wanted to or needed to, I could work 2 weeks straight on 4 hours of sleep a night if I needed to. Yeah.
But that's how life was?
That's how life was at the time. Yeah, yeah. I like, especially, so in college sports, there's what you call crossovers. Like, so soccer happens from August all the way to like November.
Mm-hmm.
And then basketball starts like right around that time. So there's like that month of November where like you're doing basically all the fall sports and then basketball, which is coming in basically in the winter.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that crossover is killer. That's what was happening. So like 2-3 weeks of just like pain, just like stress.
That's just not one sport then. I'm assuming it's
Yeah, yeah, it was everything. It was. So they had men's and women's basketball, women's volleyball. I'm just trying to think of the sports indoors. Yeah, basketball, volleyball, soccer, of course, lax, baseball. I didn't really do fencing and track, but we did softball. Yeah, it was like, I want to say men's and women's, maybe 12 or 13 teams, men's and women's.
I'm just handling all that at the same time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, it's never perfect, right? Like you're not, like, obviously basketball got highlighted way more than everyone. My priority was basketball. But like you still have to have it on the radar. And then the main thing was like the live production aspect. Like I would have to go ahead and stream like all the home games. So like I would stream soccer like obviously through the summer, and then it would come to basketball. And basketball is a different beast actually, because I would film women's basketball. I would produce those games, so it would be like 4 cameras in general, 4 cameras, full graphics package, multiple camera people, replay person, producer, director, or if not, I'm producing and directing, which is like switcher, like clicking the buttons, and then somebody like calling all the shots. Sometimes I would do both at the same time. But then like men's basketball, like Fox Sports, CBS, ESPN, or not even ESPN, like those two, like CBS and Fox would come in, and I would like have to be the facilitator. Like they would come in, they would need 3 things from me, and only 3 things, but I had to make sure I got those 3 things, because if not, it was a big problem. It was like internet. I had to get the shot clock, basically, the scoreboard connected to their truck, and also I had to send the feed from their truck to our arena and send it like 5 different ways. So it seemed like a lot, but it was relatively simple. But it was like if more for basketball, men's basketball, if none of those 3 things can go wrong. If there was something wrong with any of it, it was a big issue, a very big issue. So it was just like, that's where I was like, all right, the pressure of like, all right, you got to perform. Like, I know what to do. It's a very simple thing to kind of do all those tests.
I'm sure it went wrong before, right? Did it?
Plenty of times.
Damn.
Plenty of times.
Last minute too? Like,
the first game was the worst. It was, I didn't know, actually no, it's technically the second. I didn't know how to properly set up the the scoreboard. I didn't know how to run that to the truck properly. There's a weird method of it kind of connecting, because it's not like video HDMI. It's like literally a scoreboard, like the buttons, like to put up the score and change everything and the time, to connect that to the TV truck. So it's a very unique set of like configuration. And I didn't have it set up properly, and they were just losing it. Like they set it up themselves, but they were livid, and they were like, I think they set up like, they finalized everything like 10 minutes before the game or 5 minutes before the game. Yeah, it was like very tight. But that happens. That not even in only me. Like we play at Madison Square Garden, and I would see like basically people at the truck, because I wouldn't handle those. Like Madison Square Garden, I did nothing actually, which was great.
All done by the arena?
Correct. The truck would handle everything, and then remember, so the reason why I would work with the production truck at St. John's was because that's my arena. That's my home.
Yeah, makes sense.
So the infrastructure of the building, I need to connect with the truck. So if it's MSG, that's not my problem. That's MSG, like
they're handling
their infrastructure. They need to handle that with the truck. But they're so used to it that it's like it's streamlined. But
yeah,
like
Even
literally
they still-
the national anthem and you see like the TV guys like struggling with the announcers because apparently the TV monitors weren't working or something like that.
Oh damn.
Which in that level is like you need it because there's graphics and information and like there's a lot more bells and whistles, you know, at that level. So it was a big issue.
You're the front line.
And I'm like, I'm just like, that sucks for you. Yeah. So it's crazy. Like I said, it was a good experience to be around all those people. I was so young too. I was 25 at the time, and like everyone around me is like 40s.
That is crazy.
Like, that's just the industry, and they're like looking at you like, oh, you're what you call a grad assistant, which is like somebody in graduate school just helping. I'm like, no, it's like I'm the director of multimedia. And I'm like, oh, great. And I'm like, yeah.
Respect me.
No, yeah, yes and no,
great.
right? It's like more so it's like a mutual respect, right? Like
yeah.
I get you what you need, but also get me what I need.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have to learn that too. Is it's like I made sure like I could always do that for people, but then after that I'll be like, if I'm not getting something, I need that in return. But that's the give and take, at least in that industry.
Yeah.
That industry is very crazy. Like I said, that's why I wanted to get away from it. I was just like, all right, cool. I did it. I know I can do it. It's just tough. It was just too tough. So I was just like, I know there's better outlets, and I like doing the creative stuff more for St. John's. So I'm like, I know there's a way I can get around it, but like it won't be here. They wanted me to stay, and I was just like, no, I don't want to do this type of stuff. So I was just like, I'm gonna step away for a little bit and then figure it out. So
yeah. So the workload got you, right?
Yeah. I'll say this. At a bigger school, you would have more resources. You had, a high level of like basically you had a very high expectation, but with not many resources.
Yeah.
So that was the difficult part. If you have more resources, more people, more money, better gear, all that, then it would probably be more feasible. But when you don't, like that's when things become difficult. But in retrospect, right, you always try to think of things like positively. I learned a lot because I had to put my hands in every pot and figure everything out myself, and then obviously go through the fire and like figure things out and work around all that. So it was good.
Speaking of resources, I mean, there's no better place than New York City FC. So how did New York City FC come in mind for you? Like, why did you choose?
They just were open. I was a happenstance. It was a position was open. I applied, and then the head of content reached out on LinkedIn, and then he was just like,
On LinkedIn?
Yeah, I applied on there. It was an easy apply. I didn't think I was gonna get it. It was an easy apply.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, like I'm gonna apply, but like there's a million people doing this. Like there's no shot.
Yeah. There's
And then they reached out. I set up an interview, and it was like 3 interviews, and we had great conversations, and I don't know. At least at that time, I had confidence, and I had been through enough experience where I'm like, all right, like I'm good. Like it wasn't even the question. It was interesting. The head of content wasn't like, he was like, look, I know you're good. More so was like, my question is like your mindset of like, what do you want to do here? So we had conversations about that in terms of content. Like, what do we want to see from content? Like he told me just to look at our feed and be like, what do you like and what don't you like? What would you change? What do you want to do better? Blah, blah, blah. And I came back with him like, this is what we should do. And then we had, obviously, we had the similar mindset. So I guess that's why I got chosen. I got picked. So I got lucky.
So how you liking it? This is good?
I mean, I'm still here, right?
Yeah.
No, it's great. I think it's complete 180 from what I'm used to. It's just like you said, the resources are there. Like I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what I need to do, and everyone leans into their strengths. So there's been opportunities to grow, and I've grown here. So I think it's been great. I have no negative things to say about it. I think the more and more you kind of get into the team and like you experience more things, like I've been lucky, right? I enjoy it now. I went from my first year just doing community academy second team to now just exclusively working with the first team now.
Oh wow! So you made your way up.
Exactly. And I still work, don't get me wrong, I still work with like those other departments when need be, but I travel with the team, so it's like it's difficult, and like I'm not always at the facility, but I go to the facility, so it's like my responsibilities are mainly focused on them. But we have a team of people, so we all have different responsibilities and things that we tackle. And like again, we all step in when we need to help each other for sure. So I have a good team. Yeah.
Speaking of responsibilities, how did that change from knowing St. John's was like a lot to now to NYCFC, New York City FC. So like, what was the change? Like, obviously, much less than
Yeah.
what happened at St. John's. But what's your
Yeah.
day to day?
Yeah, workload was interesting. Like, I was, you know what's crazy? I was busy a lot when I first got here because once people found out that there was more video people coming, there was way more requests, and then we just said yes to everything. So then my workload was just, but it was never as bad as it was at St. John's. So that's the one thing. Like, it was busy, but it wasn't like killer.
You're like, this is fine.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong. Like, there were some days where it's just like I'm hopping from place to place to place, but it was just like, it was still almost like 9 to 5, but it was just like I'm hopping around a lot. No, when it started off, just like obviously day to day was just, I mean, in the beginning, I just learning. I had basically some access to like good equipment, good cameras, but never to this level. So that was a learning curve in itself, like working within a standard that was like, all right, top, and then making sure that I meet those standards. It wasn't too difficult to meet those standards. You know, it didn't take too much time, but it was definitely a learning curve.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was just about like, you know, consistently going to events, shooting. At the time, I was working a lot with Academy, a lot more. And there was a big push to like shoot more Academy content. So I was doing all like fun social edits, capturing them properly, traveling with them. Even at the end of the year, I traveled with them to Portugal, which was crazy. The fact that they even travel there, that's insane.
Portugal is crazy.
But yeah, so it's like, but they saw the qualities and the strengths that I had, and then my background in animation and design, and so it just uplifted overall everything. So yeah, I just kind of leaned into that, and I did well. And then there was opportunity to kind of lean in more to the first team, and they were like, hey, there wasn't even an ask. They kind of were just like, so preseason you're traveling, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I traveled with the first team preseason, and then from there it's just like, we rotate through and travel with the team and shoot things for the first team.
That's probably fun. Like, this year they were at California, right?
Yeah.
And you're
California,
you're
Austin,
chilling there?
No, Tampa, California, then more specifically Palm Springs, and then Austin, Texas. Yeah.
How's that? Like,
so it's interesting you guys say that. It is fun, but it is tough to travel. I think that's the one misunderstanding most people don't realize, especially for the players, but especially at that time. To give a little insight, we were working, obviously now it's public knowledge, we have the 24/7 kit. I was working on all that stuff during preseason. So like on top of my responsibility,
content, yeah.
Correct. On top of shooting preseason content, right, capturing the experience of like the first team, I was also working on stuff for
the new kit launches.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So that was a lot of behind the scenes stuff. That was like hush hush for like 2-3 months. I'm just like there editing like the jersey, people wearing the jersey, like just animations for like screens for like the event that they had to unveil it.
Yeah, the pop-up store.
Exactly.
Oh,
and that video room, that like not even all the videos, but like a lot of those stuff was like our team, or I designed some of the elements that would pop up on there.
Wow.
So yeah, that was what I was doing when I was over there. So like it was difficult. Again, it was funny, like, but at least that was probably, you know, what some people consider the most busiest time of the year for them. But I was kind of used to, again, from my prior experiences and all that. So it was tough, but we got through it. We got through it as a team. It wasn't only me, right? Like there's a group of us. There's 3 others. Sorry, there's 4 of us in total. 3 other videographers doing content. So as a team, we all kind of like chip in, help each other out, and get things done. But yeah, no, traveling is great.
What's the biggest project you did with New York City FC? If you want to share like something that you're like, oh, that's me right there.
Biggest project?
Yeah.
It might have been the 24/7 kit, maybe. I want to think. I can't think. Oof. Yeah, maybe the 24/7 kit.
How long that took you to like the whole process? Like, how was that?
It wasn't. It was just there was multiple elements of it. That's what it was. More so. Yeah, there was just multiple elements. It was, I had to do, and I filmed right before preseason. I filmed with the photographer who took all the photos, or like the special photos for the kit. I interviewed him, made a special video for that. Obviously went above and beyond more than usual because it was a special, unique
event,
occasion. Then creating banner, like it was basically like 3 walls, right? I think it was like 1 wall and then like 2 side walls, all connecting, and then deciding all the footage that would go on there, and then also like creating a small animation for the 24/7 kit. Yeah, probably that. But then also at preseason, I was filming stuff with the players with them on it. So like, yeah, just that whole. It wasn't even like, let's say one thing. It was just that whole
chapter. Or
that
like
whole little chapter, that whole project of just like stuff that needs to go out for this to support this. That was probably the biggest project I've worked on.
What was your thoughts like when it got leaked?
When it got that was
It got leaked?
yeah. No, it did happen. It did happen. It was the craziest way it happened because
EA Sports.
yeah, the game literally dropped it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they basically they put all the kits on the game,
On
and
the
you can see
MLS.
ours.
Oh, so how early was it?
It was like every kid.
Yeah,
All
it was
the
every
kits.
kit. It wasn't
All the
even
kits.
ours. It was every kit.
All the
That's like
kits.
very public knowledge. Yeah, it was every kit. Basically, like in the game, like you know how you can.
Yeah,
scroll
I
through
know.
the game, and,
Yeah.
like, our
So
kit
were
was
they
there.
were they hold accountable?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but it was like a very stressful day. It was not a stressful day, but we were just like, really, like out of all ways for it to drop, like you would think, okay, maybe it'd get leaked from like somebody that like worked there or something. No, it was
Just
literally
them there.
because a professional organization like put it there by accident or dropped it in by accident.
So how early was it? Like it was.
I couldn't tell you. I think it was.
It was like 3 months ahead of what
Was
you
it
guys.
3 months? No, I don't
3
know. If
months
it was,
is-
no, I don't think it
3
was 3
months?
months.
No,
It was like
2 months?
2 weeks. No, it was 2 weeks. You know why?
2 weeks?
Yeah, because we were on preseason when that happened, and preseason it dropped.
Oh.
So it would have been like I was on preseason for a full month, so it probably would have been like 2 to 3 weeks at most.
But then what was your thoughts? Like, what was that emotion at that time?
I was like annoyed. I was so annoyed, so annoyed. But it's like at the end of the day, what are you gonna do about it? You know, I think at the end of the day too is just like, all right, cool. You see it on the little image, like, all right, that just means that there's gonna be even more hype for it. Because you know the funny thing was that there was positive feedback off of that. There was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like this jersey's really nice. So it was like, all right, cool. Now we gotta, you know,
You gotta hype it up more now.
exactly do it better. I think, no, I think it definitely was tough, but at the same time, it was like, all right, I'm still gonna like do my best. I'm not gonna not, like.
Did
try
that
my
did
hardest.
that cancel plans or like did that shuffle
No.
stuff around? You guys were still in the same trajectory.
Yeah, the kid unveiling was the actual date for the pop-up event was set, so I was like, it was around that, like we weren't gonna change anything, we couldn't change anything, so, yeah, whether we liked to or not, it was out there.
It was already out there.
It was out
Oh.
there, so yeah, we had to do what we had to do. Yeah.
That was a funny thing though, because someone mentioned it. Oh, someone was mentioning like, I actually saw one of you guys post on New York City Football Club. It was like, oh, there's gonna be a kit unveiling on that day, and then I see the comments, and then they're like, oh, we already know how it looks.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean? And I showed it to this guy, and then he was like, wait, actually, they already released it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, apparently they did release it. EA Sports apparently leaked it.
yeah, it's tough. Like what, you can't do anything about it. I don't know. I've been put through so many situations where it's like things are out of my control, and I'm like, all right, I can control how good this is gonna look and the final presentation. So that's what I'm gonna focus on. You know, very few times I try to keep blinders on that, like, and that's frustrating too because it does affect me. But I'm there to edit a video. Let me put the video out. That's all I can do. Like, I hope people just enjoy it. Yeah.
That's cool. So, you go. You got it.
Go ahead.
So okay, this is just a fun fact, like, to ask you, like, how many projects do you think you did with NYCFC? Like, just go.
I
Rough
can't tell you.
ball.
Okay, I'll say this. Like, how many specific projects? Like something that's like unique, not just like every day, right?
Okay,
Um,
it could be rough. It does not.
not that many. But then again, these were talking about unique stuff. Like we're not
Special occasions, I guess.
like it's hard to answer that question because especially now, like anything that's new, usually I'm a part of. So it's like let's say our partnerships, right? All our ads, like you see like moment of the match, or what is it called? Save of the game. All those animations for the intro of it, I edited those. So it's like, it's hard to say because it's just sometimes that like there will be something new that we do, or like it's not even like new in terms of like all right, a video, because like there's new videos that all of our teammates do, but in terms of like something visually, which is my specialty, I feel like I'm at the forefront of like anything like animation based and design based for video specifically, not anything like obviously touching graphic design, but for video I'm usually at the forefront. So like the first one I can tell you, I mean, to answer your question though, I think maybe 15 or 20 maybe, but the first one I did was like I made which is crazy, I had done before, but I made the monogram. I animated the monogram.
Really?
That was my first thing and nobody told me to do it, but I was just like, I wanted to animate something because I'm like, nobody, you have nothing animated here, like let's do it. So I did that,
and
they
liked it.
They liked it and they used it for everything. And they still use it for everything. Yeah, that's like at the end of every video.
Yeah.
That's at the end of every video. And then after that, I did like so random, like paid, like literally like banner ads, like on a website. You know how you see like ads on the corner of a website?
Yeah.
I made stuff like that. That was like again, it's something so minute, and then like again, it just more things pop up. Noche Latina, I animated that, like that.
Oh, you told me.
Yeah, so it's just like so many random little things that I'm like, all right, cool. Anything motion based, that's what I would handle.
So the stadium, the graphics across the stadium.
Not all of that. They do have a separate team that does all that stuff for stadium. Stadium, that's the one unique thing I will say. I am familiar with a lot of stadium stuff, and I did it a lot for St. John's because we mainly for Madison Square Garden, or like when we play UBS or anywhere else. But here, it's so separate that it's just like, yeah, I don't handle that. I don't need to handle that. You want to arrange yourself before?
I don't know what just happened to that.
Also, yeah. Come closer, brother.
This is
Don't be afraid, brother. No, because I could hear like he's faint, so I'm like, oh, you're probably gonna be so stressed afterward.
You have no idea. That's why I know.
Oh man,
It's always funny. Oh my god.
No, but yeah, I don't touch anything stadium based. I'll make videos for the big video board, but like that's about it.
So like transitioning from St. John's, where you have little equipment and stuff like that, to like New York City Football Club, do they like provide you with the equipment and everything, or like?
Yeah, they give us the resources to do that. Obviously within budget, but like we have the resources to do our job. And again, we're at a higher standard, right? The club is at a standard where we need to make sure that the content and the things we put out is of quality, right? So because we have just like St. John's, I said it was. People cared and actually were watching. Now even at MLS, it's a higher level now, and then especially working under City Football Group, which is as a whole, which is a bigger conglomerate. Like, there's again standards that everyone sets, us and them and everyone around us. So we just got to make sure we meet them, and which everyone in our team is talented. I feel lucky to work with, not only just in my department of video, but like design and marketing and events, and everyone's super talented and good at what they do. So it makes things easier, as opposed to again working where I used to work with limited resources, less people, more of a struggle. The final product is going to be a little rougher, but you just work with what you got. So here we have things we can work with here, so it's great.
Where do you see yourself in this club? Like, where do you see yourself like in the future? Do you wanna?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know. It's tough to answer that question because, I think as long as I'm keep doing what I'm doing now, I've had a conversation with like people on like, my higher ups and everything, like, yeah, what do you want from me? Right. And it was just basically like, honestly, they just keep doing what you're doing. For me, it's just like what I said earlier, anything motion and design and just pushing us forward. That's all that matters. And it's not only me, it's like our whole crew now is in that same mindset. So we all kind of, as long as we keep pushing, boundaries and barriers, I think that's the only thing. I don't really see a specific position or end goal, is because like there's so many new projects that kind of happen. So it's like, it's hard to say this is where I want to be, right? This is what I want to do. I mean, I'm shooting first team. I guess that's the pinnacle, but I'm like, at the same time, like there's so much other things that could happen around the first team. That's what I'm more intrigued about, and I don't know what that can be. So there's just going to be a plethora of opportunities. So I guess seeing more and more opportunities come, that's when I want to make sure I see for myself and for the club and our department for sure.
Situational, I guess.
Yeah,
Depends.
it's completely situational. I don't know. I didn't think I would be working on the kit and like in that way, in that capacity, right? It was different. Like the year prior for the blue kit, or like I think 2 years prior, they did an ad, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't really involved around
Hands
it.
on, you weren't.
Like I wasn't really involved around that part. I was involved with like the pop up and like creating digital assets for it. So it's like, cool. Like I don't, you know what I mean? I just don't. Do I want to make it that? Sure, but like at the end of the day, I'm working within that boundary. So it's like, I don't know.
It's whatever comes out, you'll
Whatever
take it.
comes back. I think the biggest thing for me is always, in general, is like always having a new opportunity. Always opportunities presenting themselves. I think that's the biggest thing. Growth. So it's like I'm constantly being challenged because there's new things coming in front of me. So I think as long as that happens, then yeah, sky's the limit. Obviously, we have a stadium coming, so that's amazing. But it's just like being involved and like knowing that that's coming. That's going to be a plethora of new opportunities as well.
Exactly.
So who knows what I'm going to need to do for that in the future. But yeah, it's just, well, I'll wait and see.
So do you consider the videography and photography job as like a individual job or like a team job?
No, it's a team job for sure. For sure.
How
It depends in what capacity. Here, it definitely is 100%. Like there's photographers and videographers that do their own thing. I mean, I do my own thing as well. Like I have a business on the side, but like photography and videography is like, yeah, especially here, like think of it as this. The way it kind of works is like there's people shooting the game, then there's people shooting in the stands, and then there's people shooting like things like signage to make sure they capturing and more so capturing people around things that are pop up, like, you know, like when there's the events in the front, or I forget what it's called right now, but like when they have like all like the games and everything in front of the
fan fest events?
The fan fest, there you go. I was blanking out. Thank you for helping me there. You know more than I do. So no, fan fest, when that's happening. So it's like making sure we capture every part of the experience. That is a full team job. Not one person can capture all that. It's literally impossible. So for forward and video, it's important that you have a team of people to go out and capture each part of that experience, because we want to encapsulate the entire New York City football experience when you're at the game. So it's a big place.
It's like a puzzle, all right? Technically, like
It's
basically.
there's just
Like they
there's
connect
many
each
pieces
other?
of the puzzle. Everybody plays their part.
Yeah.
Everybody plays their part. Again, there's things that I do that are better. There's a way I shoot that is better than somebody else, and somebody shoots a different way that's better. So it's just like, all right, what do our unique skill sets bring to the table? So then we can go out and make sure that, again, we capture the experience of the club. And that's not only what happens on the pitch, that's also what happens around it and the people that are around the club. That's why we do stuff with community academy and everything like that too. So it's like, I can't be everywhere at once to capture that full experience.
So you mentioned that you have a business outside of like New York City Football Club.
Yeah.
What are like the roles and stuff that you do outside? Is it like something similar to this, or like is it completely different?
No, it's similar. I do production company, media company, basically, BNV Media Group. Me and another business partner, we go and basically film videographers. But we do obviously specialize in social media, so we capture mainly for that focus. But anything else video based, we can kind of do for you. Content based, if we want to do photography, we can. Design, we don't touch, but more so anything social media marketing related, in terms of like managing your media kind of strategy and then capturing content for that, we can definitely do for you. So I've been doing it now for 2 years proper now, or middle, kind of started around the same time I got here, a little bit before, but then like, a year and a half, almost 2 years. So yeah, that's pretty much the encapsulation, but we work in multiple different industries, not just like here as sport. There's like hospitality, restaurants, automotive, real estate, just again, anything.
If you had to share a project, what project did you do with them? Like any, and she must be creative. Like it could be random stuff.
Yeah.
But
I'm trying to think the most random. So I'll give you two sides of the spectrum, right? There's this company called It Cosmetics, which is L'Oreal. It's an umbrella of L'Oreal, literally like a makeup line.
Mm-hmm.
and we captured literally their like year end or like beginning of the year, mid year like presentations, where we just literally filmed the presentations of them explaining to their own audience, to their own company, literally like if me like our all staffs here,
Yeah.
basically what they're doing there, but it was like the year, just like a yearly review. So it's like I filmed that and like made a recap for that, and it was just all right. That's very simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I work for also, what is it called, a plethora of restaurants, and then also like a spirit company, and then like making ads and videos for those guys. So it's like there's anything video based, it's very, very different. It's very, very different. But just knowing how to do all those different things, like the event coverage is very different from like something for social media that needs to be trendy or poppy or wants to convey a message, right, for a new product. But I guess through my experiences here, through college sports, I think specifically St. John's gave me the experience of like working in different avenues or making assets for different things. Like I made stuff for like TV, then I made stuff for social, then I made stuff for internal, and then I made stuff to sell, I made stuff to promote, I made stuff to like engage. So it's like you have to understand what you're doing it for. So thankfully, like all that understanding and knowledge, at least I can transfer to the business. And even here, like the type of content we make here, it's could be organic.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to make ads, or we can try to basically promote something. It just depends, So yeah, it's a mixed bag, but anything video based is kind of my forte and our business's forte.
So how do you manage both like New York City Football Club and like doing video and stuff for your company?
Just off days. That's it.
Off days?
Off days, pretty much. I think I'm lucky that, the club, obviously, we make sure you stay on schedule, like you're not working too crazy. So anytime I can, I'll take gigs and work with them and work with businesses. And then obviously it's a team, right? It's not only me. Like sometimes I'm not there, and then we have somebody else capturing stuff for us.
Yeah.
So it's just like that's why it's good to work, with other people. Again, nothing at a high level can be done well if you don't have a group of people around you, So just like it is here, it's the same way in my business. I can't be there all the time because I'm focused on this and doing this. So I was like perfectly fine. I have somebody else that can help and capture for events and for whatever coverage might be needed, because this weekend I'm away for a game. So it's like I'm not going to be around, my working this whole week. So that's perfectly fine, but like I have somebody in the background being able to do stuff for the business and keep it moving and growing and, getting work done.
Okay. It's freelance.
Yeah, basically.
So like, do you have any plans of like going full out with the company and like making it bigger, or like what's the idea with that?
Well, let's see. I think let's see what opportunities present themselves. I don't know. My focus is on the club, to be honest, because it's the biggest opportunity in front of me, and it's also the opportunity that's giving me the most. So I'm not gonna, what is it called? Like I'm not gonna bite the hand that's feeding me. Definitely. Would I like to take the company bigger? Sure, why not? I think for me the company is something that is ever growing, so we'll see where it goes. But it's just like I just don't know. I got to see what opportunities, people we meet, how it kind of develops. It's just interesting, like I just don't know what the future has for it, and I don't know what the future has for me. So it's just like I know I'm good at what I do, and it's video, and I'm able to do it here properly, and I'm able to do it for the business. So as of right now, just trying to balance both and doing it pretty well, I would say.
Yeah, if you're interested, links down in the description for my boy Luis's website.
Like trying to build something on your own while you're doing something else, it's like it's definitely difficult, but at the same time it's like, what are your options and what are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish, right? At the end of the day, as long as you're doing something that you love, I think that's most important. Definitely I'm in a unique position where I like both things that I'm doing here, I love both of them, and they just bring me very different things. I think for me is just about having the opportunity and the outlet to express myself creatively, free of anything, and like no barometers, no emails, no nothing. I could just do what I want. And then here it's just like, all right, cool. I love soccer. I love traveling. I love engaging with the team, and I love the opportunities I get through the team. So it's just like, it's a perfect storm. But everyone has to find their own balance of like, all right, I want to go this far with it, or I do not want to go this far with it, because then if not, you will get consumed or eaten up by it, because it is a lot of work at the end of the day, or it can be a lot of work. So yeah.
What are you some so let's say for example you have a blank social media, right?
Mhm.
Since I know you do a lot of like social media like promotion.
Also move that water bottle. There you go.
Since you do a lot of social media promotion, like especially with New York City Football Club, since you do their media and all that, what are some like advice or like stuff that you would take as a first step to like kind of like expose that Instagram or like social media page out there for the world to know? It could be like let's say you're starting off New York City Football Club's social media page from
Yeah.
scratch.
Yeah.
Like how do you start it?
It's tough. I mean, it's not an easy thing to do. I mean, yeah, like everyone is just off the bat, just like make content. But yes, I think the main thing is just like you gotta inform people what this place is gonna be. Like for New York City Football Club, it's like, all right, great. Like this is the club of the city, for the city, by the city. Like you need to put it out there that this is, you know, specifically. I think the main thing is that we try to focus on the fact that we're from New York and not like, you know, obviously the other team, Red Bulls, which is, you know, based in Jersey. We are a New York City based football club, and these are the culture, and this is the culture of the team. This is what we want to be about. This is the players we're gonna get. This is what we're gonna do. So you gotta inform the audience about what this company or whatever you're trying to promote, you know, and then from there you set basically a culture. Like you said, this is how I'm going to communicate to you guys, right? And that can be done in many different ways. It can be in a joking way, it can be in a serious way, it can be in a very platonic way. Like it depends how you want to engage with the audience. But you inform people, then you set a standard of like, all right, how you engage with people on social media and what people can expect from your account, and then from there you start getting an influx of people based off of that, right? Because you want to get a specific target audience. You don't want everyone. You're not going to get everyone. That's like MLS and this club is not for everyone. Not everyone likes soccer, right? Like obviously it's the most watched sport in the world, but you know, there's still, you know,
There's still people who hate it.
Or don't like
Don't
it or
like
don't
it.
really care about
Yeah.
it, and we're not trying to engage with them. So I think finding your audience is important, probably the first step, but then like informing that audience and then engaging that audience, so then, you know, basically they can get engaged with you. I think those are the first things. I think people get caught up with like trying to like just do like cool content. I'm like, yes, but also you need to make content that makes sense for the people you're trying to reach.
Having a theme as well.
Yeah.
A consistent theme.
Correct 100%. A consistent theme, because that's what, when people come to your page, they're gonna expect something from it. So if you don't have something, again, we always call it in a brand voice. If your account doesn't have a voice or tone that, you know, it's kind of like expected, or if you kind of go away from it all the time, then it's like it's gonna be like sending mixed signals, because you're not communicating in the way that they would expect you to communicate, and then they might just fall off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is a very simple way, but it's like, all right, I just want to put nothing but photos, and then you put in video, like a random video. You're like,
Be like,
okay,
what's
what
going
the-
on? Yeah.
But either way, video is a little fun fact that I always use for the business. Video is the highest consumable in like the highest consumable in like our industry by far. So more than photo, more than article, more than billboards. If you want somebody to reach, if you want to reach somebody rather, it is going to be through the video. So it doesn't matter if it's social media, if it's a TV ad, if it's like a rolling video ad, like on a sign somewhere outside, like it has to be through video. That's why what do you think on the subway? You know, I see those video ads as opposed to just like a standard, like graphic. Like if you want to engage like the audience now, like in this generation, like it doesn't matter what it is, but in this generation, it has to be through video. Yeah.
Yeah, because like photo is just a one-time thing, but then video you could just modify it however you want.
I think yes, 100%. I think the main thing though is the fact that it doesn't stimulate enough. It stimulates you when you first see it, and then there's nothing that happens after that.
Yeah.
So you have one basically second, if that, like 1 millisecond of basically simulation, and then nothing else happens.
Nothing else. Yeah.
So do you think like the fact that the reel culture has anything to do with that? Like the fact that there's like the influx of reels that people watch have anything to do with that?
Well, that's the attention span of people. That's the real culture happened because of the attention span of people. The attention span of people is so small that there needs to be constant engagement. So in real culture, right, like they always talk about on social media, the first 3 or 5 seconds are probably the most important, right, because you want to engage with them. So it's like that's how much time you have to lock somebody's attention, and something that's static isn't going to lock your attention. Something that's visually moving around a lot is going to keep your attention because it's constantly changing. So that's the main thing. I think motion design, like text and all that, could help and probably works, but obviously the most accessible and easy thing is like video, because everybody has video access to video, and like as opposed to like making a motion design. Yeah.
So how do you approach like the attention span like thing, or like grasping like the hook of the video, or like just like going from the start to like end? I know you did production and all that, so like how do you do that now?
It's different. It's interesting. It's like a tough. It's I answer that question differently for different projects. For certain, like let's say for my businesses, for certain clients, I just try to make sure that you know exactly who's being sold to, or rather like for a restaurant, I need to know within the first 2 to 3 seconds. I know their like the location, or there's something that needs to stand out about that location, or rather like that is known about that location, so people know that this is about this place. Then from there is just like, all right, cool, what is interesting about, where am I going with it, right? So if like I'm talking about a meal that I want to show off, or a plate I want to show off, then I'll like be right off the bat. Then I'll go into the preparation and then kind of start again from the point of it being presented. Same thing here. It's like, the beginning of the videos, it's like I just want to make sure it's like high impact or like high emotion, or I don't know. It's a tough answer, because it's like there's two sides of the coin. It's like there's like the creative and like cinematic movie guy you want to be, and then there's like, all right, like how do you keep somebody locked into the creation?
Yeah.
The toughest, I think. Yeah, it's there's no real answer, but the real answer is just like being completely different or unique within those 5 to 3 seconds. I'm making sure that it's abundantly clear that you know where this is gonna go. I think that's all you can really kind of pinpoint, and you can do that many different ways.
Do you like hate the fact that it's only like, because I know I read this recent post of this one movie director. He's like, oh, not movie director, I think he's one of the actors in the Guardians of the Galaxy. I got no idea who he is. I forgot. I think he was the arrow guy, the one who whistles and then uses the arrow.
Yes, James Gunn's brother. I forget his name though.
I'm not sure, but he was like, you guys need to like stop scrolling on TikTok and stuff, because because a lot of you guys are just complaining about a 90-minute movie. You guys gotta let the character develop, and then like walk through with the character, and like be able to watch them like develop through it. So like, do you have like a sense of like that same feeling while you make the content? Like, oh, you guys should just be watching it more so and stuff like that.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't disagree with what he's saying. I think for me, there's a way to do both. In movie making though, I will say it's a different breed. Like you don't have that option. Like for us as a business, like for my business and for the club, you're able to take certain liberties, and even the storytelling we take in the long form content we make, you're able to structure it differently so you can draw people in and then keep them to keep them on for a long period of time. Not always in a movie do you want to go ahead and like be upfront with like and be loud in the beginning, to then like have a like slow pace and then pay off. Like that's not what a movie's about. It's like what he said, like building a story, building characters. You build and like create a connection, or rather not even emotional, but like you build a connection, or you build
it's like the sort of interest. Attachment, like you grow with the story. Exactly what you said, attachment. You build an attachment with it, and then from there, whatever good or bad happens, then great. I do see what he's saying. At least in my industry, I have, again, like I said, I have leeway. From what I said it before, I was just like, I don't think about what has happened. All right, cool. Like when you said the kit launched, right? Like it launched, I have nothing I control. This is the way society works. I have no control over the way society works and people work. I just know what works best for those people. At the end of the day, there's two parts of it, right? You want people to see the work, right? And you want to express yourself creatively. So like I have to find a happy medium between those two. There's nothing I can do about, like, I can't change society.
Yeah.
I just can't, right? So I was like, I come from the perspective of like, all right, how can I express myself creatively and like the way I like to create content, while also making sure that people will engage with that content. And that's always been my perspective. Many people kind of get not even annoyed at me. It's not even annoyed at me or like annoyed at that has to be a thing. But I just think that's how I think. I don't think of and innately I think because of all my experiences, I think of the solution, not the problem. The problem, I guess you could say, is the society. But I'm like, how do I how do I keep engaging with society? Because at the end of the day, I'm a creative. I'm a visual creator. I need to engage with people. So how can I do that? I always think of the solution. Always think about it.
So do you do like research and stuff, or like what do you like? Have you like read materials on it?
Yeah, a little bit of everything, right? Communication. I think engaging with people. I think the most invaluable thing I kind of get is like word of mouth from other people, just like understanding like what they like, what they don't like. What honestly, there's a lot. Me personally, I think of the psychology of people more than I do think of like, all right, um, like, all right, I read this article or anything. I know how people are and I know what people are doing, and that's what I focus on and that's what I've researched. So it's like I get some information, of course, but I just see where things are swaying. Like if you look in your own feed, I can see the trends, ebbs and flows. I'm like, all right, this is kind of, being consumed. This isn't really being consumed. Like I know innately, it's kind of interesting, right? It's a love-hate thing. The things we do, let's say photo, video, like that type of content online, isn't necessarily consumed by a mass market. Like it's not really like a big thing where people are constantly like looking at these videos and they go viral. Like it's always those funny, like silly, just entertaining, like realistic kind of videos that get entertained, or like it's a bigger brand that gets like reach, or But yeah, I just see what works and what doesn't work, and I just know the audience that I have, and I'm like, all right, cool. I need to get the most eyeballs on this, specific market. So if it's sports, I need to tap into that sports market and get the most amount of people. It's not about getting like 20 million views and getting viral all the time. It's about making sure that I take a piece of that population or that market and make sure that I get the majority of them into it.
Yeah.
That's my main focus always, because it's like there's a ton of markets out there. We have sports, we have fashion, we have finance, we have news. All those people like are different markets, and like people do what I do in those markets, but I'm not gonna try to tap into them.
Yeah.
There's some crossover, but it's not always easy. So it's just like I just want to pull a big chunk of my market and pull them to me. And then I look into like, all right, what do those people in my market like? Which I told you, like, know your audience. You got to know your audience.
Have you ever tried to tap into the actual filmmaking, like long form theater?
Yeah, I did. So actually, it's funny. You talked to me and asked me a question like, what would I want to see? Maybe in this club. I guess maybe in this club, but I don't know if it'll be here. Maybe, who knows what opportunity will come. I wanted long form documentary. So right out of college, and even in college, I was working with my mentor, Dexter Henry, he's mainly like a sports reporter. Like he has his own show on SNY and stuff like that. So we would go out and film like longer form stories on like just niche things. Like we would take like a boxer, talk about him. Like we went to Gleason's to film that. We filmed like stuff about tennis and like even wrestling, just like random little stories, and I enjoyed it so much, so much. I haven't been able to delve in long enough to like give myself amount of time to build out a story like properly. I think what we're doing now in the club is like doing Bound by Blue, which is a series about like specific players, which has been very nice because it's like we're taking the time to really sit down and understand who these guys are outside of the pitch and get to know them as a human. So we do a lot of like digging in terms of their past and like trying to understand who they are, their interests, what's important to them, what makes them tick. So like long form storytelling is definitely what I'm interested in. Maybe not movies, but documentary style, yeah. 100%.
Something like Man City, what they did with their treble winning.
Yeah, exactly. exactly. So things of that nature, I really thoroughly enjoy. And there's things that are cooking in, like I'm working with the club that is leaning that direction, which I'm enjoying for sure. Actually, yeah, yeah.
So like mentioned mentoring.
Mm.
What are you? So how long have you been under the mentorship of that person? I forgot his name.
Dexter.
Dexter.
I met him. So I told you I went to college and joined the broadcasting club. He was running it. So
It's just,
yeah, he was.
wow.
I've known him for years. He was part time there, like he was hopping around, like doing sportscaster thing, like just going on a lot of gigs. Um, so he basically was doing the live production and like running that club as a part time gig and while doing other stuff. So yeah, I've known him since the beginning. Like I do very different things than him. I am not in front of the camera. I'm not a sportscaster. But he understands this business and like marketing and media as a whole. So me and him, instead of having conversations of like, what type of camera can I have? Well, what I like, it's more so life, like personal goals, just like the business as a whole, like again, psychology of like like the consumers and everyone. It's a very broad, but he was instrumental, and so instrumental in like my growth and development. Like he gave me so much opportunity. Like I had no business running live productions with him, like when I was like a sophomore or junior in college. But he taught us so much and gave us so many different opportunities to try and build ourselves. And the biggest thing he said, really, which was, is like, don't just expect an opportunity, build your own and do your own thing. And especially for our industry, like you got to go out and just shoot. Like that's why I said that summer I got the camera, I just shot, because he was just like, you got to go do your stuff, man. Like it's great you're doing stuff with me, but like, what do you want to do? Do you want to do this? He's like, maybe, I don't know, but like not really. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, what do you want to do? Well, like photography or whatever. Like, so get a camera and do that. So I did it and built from there.
Here you are.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exact. No. Literally. Quite literally. You know, it's you got to start somewhere, but it's like you can't just expect somebody to just hand you something. Like nobody's gonna hand me a full-time job here because
you gotta earn it.
I gotta earn it. And I worked for it, and I put in a bunch of reps to make sure that I knew what I was doing because I wanted to do this. Yeah.
Okay, so changing topic. Let's make it a little bit more fun. So you enjoyed soccer, right? That's best sport. We can all agree on that, right?
My favorite sport by far.
Okay.
By far. There's some others in there close, but yeah, by far, yeah.
So Messi,
What others
Ronaldo.
have you played?
Oh,
Huh?
What other sports have you played?
Ooh. Played tennis growing up.
Tennis.
Yeah, played
That's
tennis growing
interesting.
up when I was really young. Then soccer was actually late sophomore year in high school, first freshman year. I started watching soccer. Then after that, like basketball, and then F1, more recently.
so you're all star. Like you play everything.
No, not that I played.
Well,
But I mean, as every kid does. I don't know if they still do it, but I'm hoping they do. Like I would go to the park. Like this was my summers when I was young. I would go to the park, play soccer, and it was Juniper Park in Queens. We'd play soccer on the field. Then we would walk over to the courts where the basketball courts and the tennis courts were right next to each other. So we either play either or. And at the end, sometimes it was a hot day, we'd go to the swimming pool. And I was just active.
Free for all.
Just active play. High school, I would play soccer with some of my friends, but some guys didn't like playing soccer, so I played basketball with them. Then I played volleyball. I played on the volleyball team actually in high school. So it was just I just active. Like I don't really play as much anymore, unfortunately, but like I would just play. Like I was, I just wanted to go out and I don't know, that was the only thing to do. I don't know. In my eyes, I mean, you could play video games and all that, but you just played whatever sport and you just had fun. Yeah.
So, well, this video will be out after the Euros and Copa America, but I mean, we need your prediction.
Euros and Copa America? All right, so who's in the final? So Copa America is Colombia and Uruguay?
No.
Copa America, right?
Copa America, Argentina, and
yes,
Colombia.
my bad. Argentina and Uruguay. That was the
yesterday.
Other day. That was the other day. Colombia is doing very well right now. I think the main thing is I always go with the underdog, so I would say Colombia.
Colombia with the win.
Colombia. I think they just Argentina should win, but it's just like
Underdog.
the quality and the underdog, like the heart that's gonna come out of Colombia is gonna be top. So it's just like it's anyone's game. It's football, right? It's anyone's game. Like there's no, you can't really call it. But like I would love Colombia to win. And then for the Euros, who do we got? We got Spain and England, right?
Yes.
That's tough. Actually, that's a tougher question for me because it's like I'm a big English Premier fan, so I love England. But then Spain, like you see all these young guys and like the quality, the way they're playing is so much fun. That's like it's great. I will say
the 16-year-old, bro.
Yamal, right? Yeah, so good.
Well, look at my age. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, I try not to think about that because I'm like, yeah, I could go crazy. But honestly, I that game, anyone can win actually, I think. But I would like England to win.
It's coming home.
I would like them to win. They need to win. And if they do win, then I think Bellingham wins the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, I mean, I think technically he's en route, to be honest. Final of Euros.
Champions League.
La
I think
Liga.
the highest La Liga goal scorer. And if he wins the Euros, like, how can you not give it to him?
Well, if Argentina wins the Copa America, it goes to Messi. It's all right.
No,
No way.
Maybe
bro.
back in the day, but not anymore. Not anymore.
Let's see.
Back in the day. Literally happened in 2021.
Well, cameraman's gonna know.
Cameron, Tony's, yeah, no, you're true. It's so true. But I mean, he's only been in the league 2 seasons, so yeah.
It's all right. The Ballon d'Or goes to Messi every year.
Yeah, I mean, he won the World Cup, right? So it's like, what are you gonna do like that year that he won the World Cup?
So then the next excuse is gonna be, oh, he won the Copa America.
Nah,
I mean,
you
You
can't.
never know.
compare.
You never know.
Nah,
It
you
didn't
can't
happen
do
yet. It didn't happen yet.
I'll say, let's see. Like I said, I think right now Bellingham is probably on track.
let's see now, bro. Bellingham's gonna win it. Like, watch. Clip
should.
this right now. Bellingham's.
He should. I would say Vinny would be close. Madrid, like whoever's on Madrid's team, Vinny would be close, but Brazil did bad.
If Messi wins, I will personally text you.
That's not possible.
I will personally text you saying, oh, I told you this.
Oh my god! I mean, that would just be.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be atrocious. That'd be terrible.
That'd actually be crazy.
That'd be
Well, then Messi or Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
Oh.
Ronaldo. This is big scoop. I'm a Man United fan. Man United fan, yeah.
Man United.
You're risking it right now.
Yeah.
He's
Man
putting
United
everything on
fan.
the table right
Yikes,
now.
yikes. Wait. Let me just hide it.
I work for New York City Football Club. Hey, man.
CFG, you know.
Hey, man. I have much respect for Man City, man. I have much respect. And I still want to go to CFA and all that. Like, I would still go to the stadium.
You're putting it on the
But
table.
am I a fan? Like in Derby Day?
It gets spicy.
I just sit quiet. I'm just like, hey, but MLS, New York City FC, come on all day.
Come on.
All day. I actually was a fan before working here too, so.
Okay,
of New
that's
York City
good.
FC, yeah. I would go to games. Yeah.
You're OG.
Yeah, I was here when we were when the league was rough. The league used to look rough, but now it's good. Like when I see the games, I'm like, oof, some quality. Yeah.
What are you looking forward for the stadium? I mean, the stadium's being built. Like
Everything.
you expect like a
Everything. I don't know. It's hard. Like, it's public, right? You've seen renderings. It's just you're not gonna really know until you walk
I
in
can see it.
and you actually see it. You're just not gonna get a feel for it. The one good thing is I've been able to travel to certain stadiums and get a feel for it. Like, I've been able to travel to certain stadiums that has the same architects, so it's not gonna be the same exact thing, right? But it's like overall generic. Like, this is what it'll kind of like the infrastructure will kind of be like. Which there's 2 already I've been to. I'm like, okay, I'm getting a sense of it already. It's gonna be great, man. It's gonna be great. I think it's just gonna be great because the culture and more so the people that are gonna go to the game is just gonna be so easy accessible, and it's gonna create a great environment.
I mean, it's your venue then. It'll be like our venue.
Yeah.
Customization.
I think that's the sky's the limit in that aspect. Like, you know, I get pulled in. I'm just waiting for those conversations of like, all right, studio, like video room, like
More motion.
yeah, no, but just in general, like I'm just curious to see where things go because there's a whole team for that. Like, I help out sometimes with that stuff, but it's like that's very kept together, and I have no idea when stuff comes out. Like, it's just like, you know, whenever something new comes out, it's always like I'm like you guys. I'm like a fan. I'm like, oh crap, like that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just excited for it. Honestly, it's just gonna be great for the community and just great for soccer in New York as a whole.
Okay.
So they hide the fact about the stadiums even from the team itself.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole like to build a stadium. Like there's a whole team behind that.
Yeah, infrastructure.
There's a whole infrastructure. Like I can't be involved in building a stadium. Like
No, like just in like general like stuff that's happening. Let's say for example, like like apart from the architecture, like there's definitely like other projects that happen with the stadium that that the other team that's just probably just might
I mean,
know about.
to give you context, I remember the City Hall vote.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for that. I filmed like in City Hall, like when they finally approved officially, with the city that we're allowed to build a stadium. So it's like that's the capacity I'm involved in. I'm not involved in like
So you'll make the teasers if when the stadium's getting closer.
maybe, but that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, will I be at the stadium first? Then like the audience, yes, but it's just like also there. I'm not making renderings. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't know how to like I don't really know
Like
much
the
about it.
3D
There's nothing really to like film yet. There's nothing there.
It's all a
Right.
prototype.
There's nothing, right? Like whenever they start building and putting beams up, then maybe sure, like I'll pop in there like once a year, and then like see how things have developed. But like now, there's nothing for me to film.
Yeah, it makes
there's
sense.
really nothing for me to film. So it's like, what am I gonna know? Like I'm not gonna know anything because there's like a big group of like architects and developers like figuring all that stuff out. So no, that's why I say like I'm like you guys, like I'm a fan. So I'm excited to see more and more as more comes out. It's gonna be great.
Well, this is how we end our podcast with our signature questions.
Okay.
Look at it, Hermes.
What's the one advice you would give yourself 3 years ago, or something that you would an advice that you would give someone younger than you?
So the one I'll answer the second one first. The one I would give to somebody or anyone younger in general, I would say, actually no, I'm trying to. Hold on, let me think about that for a quick second. Because I was gonna say something, but I'm like, it's not advice. It's more so the way I think. So like, in terms of advice, somebody younger is just like what I said earlier, actually, which is just like create, do it on your own. Don't wait on anyone. Just do it on your own. Like, I talked to somebody one time, and they were like, "Oh, like I want to do this type of content. I want to make this type of videos." And I'm like, "Okay, so do it." But I don't know how. I'm like, nobody knows how to. Like, I didn't know how to edit like sports videos when I first started. But you have to start.
Yeah.
You have to try, and then you build and grow from that. So just trying, like just try and do what you want to do, and like experiment and have fun with it. If you enjoy it, it's never gonna feel like work. None of this feels like work. I'm incredibly lucky, but I wouldn't have gone to this place if I didn't just go out and try.
Yeah.
If I didn't take that full year of just like making crappy videos and just trying it, like you build and you grow from that. And then advice I would have given to myself 3 years ago, I guess, don't like you're in a better spot than you think you are. You're way more. I have this saying where it's like I'm never as good as they say I am, but I'm never as bad as they say I am. So sometimes I was lean on them like I'm never as good as they say I am. So I would think like maybe I'm not that good. I'm not ready to do it. Like no, you were well equipped.
Doubting.
You're the doubt. The doubt.
It's the self-doubt.
The self-doubt. That is tough. Everyone has their own, stresses and, things that they deal with. Self-doubt was one for a long, long time. I think now I'm in the place where, like, that's kind of, like, of course, you're human. You always have those inklings. But I'm like, I'm now, at least with this, right? I know I can make, this is my industry. I know I can make videos. I know I can make content. There's no doubt in that. So I was like, as long as I do the right things and I do the things that I'm supposed to do, then I'm going to make something great no matter what. So it was just like, that's what I would say. Like, take this out, like have some confidence in like your ability for sure. And that goes with anyone. Have confidence in your ability. Maybe you're not at the place you want to be, but you will be. And just make sure you're in the right strides to make sure you're on track.
Well, thank you for making time to like be with us.
Luis Velez,
Uh,
everyone. Clap, clap, clap. Hopefully they edit this in, you know, unlike last time. It was very
Unlike
awkward.
No, it was a pleasure. Thank you guys for having me. It was good to talk to you guys, talk about myself for a little bit, and obviously just like, you know, hopefully you guys learn something.
Reflection.
Yeah, reflection for sure. You know, behind the beautiful sunset.
It's very hot in here.
It's the sun.
I'm sweating like bullets.
It's very hot.
Oh, we gotta say, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, no?
That's all you.
We don't even do that anymore.
We don't do that? Alright, fine.